Your cat sleeping beside you is often read as hesitation. But what if the distance is not doubt at all, and the thing you are calling emotional distance is actually a very precise form of trust? A lot of owners know this scene so well they barely question it anymore. You get into bed, the room settles, your cat arrives, maybe not immediately, but after checking the doorway, the corners, the shape of your body under the blanket. It circles once, twice, sometimes pauses near your legs, sometimes near your hip, sometimes just beyond the reach of your hand. Then it lies down, not on your chest, not across your stomach, not curled directly into your arms, just beside you, close enough that you can feel its warmth if you shift slightly, close enough that the mattress dips with its weight, close enough to belong to the same resting space, but not so close that your bodies fully merge. And because humans are primed to measure affection through maximum closeness, a quiet question slips in almost automatically. If my cat trusts me, why not sleep on me? If the bond is deep, why choose beside instead of on? And the more dangerous version is the one many people do not say out loud. If my cat stops just short of full contact, is something missing in the relationship? That is the question hidden inside this behavior. Not whether your cat sleeps near you, but what that exact distance means. If your cat chose your bed, your body's orbit, your sleeping space, then why was the final position beside you and not on you? What was your cat protecting, managing, or preserving in that last few inches? Because that is usually where the misreading begins, not when the cat leaves the room, not when it avoids the bed completely, but when it comes close, selects you, settles near you, and you still read the remaining space as emotional reluctance. Look at the scene more carefully. The cat jumps onto the bed and does not collapse randomly. It scans. The ears stay lightly active even in calm. The body lowers in stages. A front paw adjusts once, then again. Sometimes the cat faces outward rather than toward you. Sometimes it keeps its spine near your leg but leaves the chest free. Sometimes it settles at your feet instead of your chest, or beside your thigh instead of on your lap under the blanket. To a human nervous system, these details can look minor. To a cat, they are often the whole logic of the decision. You thought the cat was deciding how much it loved you. It was often deciding how safely it could rest. That is the fracture most people miss. The behavior is not emotional half measure. It is regulated closeness. Not weak attachment, but controlled vulnerability. Cats are small predators, but they are also animals built around exquisite threshold management. They rest deeply only when multiple conditions align: temperature, escape route, pressure on the body, sensory predictability, noise level, your movement pattern, blanket texture, the stability of the surface, whether your breathing is calm or shifting, whether your hands tend to reach without warning, whether your body rolls in sleep, whether contact stays chosen or becomes imposed. So when a cat sleeps beside you instead of on you, it is often solving several biological questions at once. Can I be close to this person and still keep some control over my body? Can I rest here without being trapped by warmth, pressure, movement, or touch? Can I trust this space without surrendering all options inside it? That is why the exact placement matters. A cat at your feet is not the same as a cat on your chest. A cat pressed against your calf for 10 minutes and then shifted 2 inches away is not becoming cold. A cat curled beside your hip but facing the room may be choosing both intimacy and vigilance in one position. Humans tend to flatten these distinctions because we read affection through continuation and fusion. Cats often express trust through proximity with preserved agency. And that matters more than many owners realize. Because when this behavior is misunderstood, the interaction around sleep gets noisier over time. The cat lies beside you, and because you wanted more obvious closeness, you move it onto your chest. Or you stroke it immediately because its presence feels like an invitation. Or you keep adjusting the blanket around it. Or you read its stillness as total comfort. And what happens then is subtle. The cat does not always leave at once. First, the head lifts. Then the ears angle back for a second and reset. A paw repositions toward the edge. The spine loses softness. The body that had settled in curves becomes slightly held. Sometimes the tail tip flicks once under the low light. Sometimes the cat stays, but the rest is no longer as deep. That is a crucial moment, because chosen closeness can become tolerated closeness very quietly. And once tolerated closeness becomes a pattern, the cat starts managing you inside the ritual. It may arrive later, settle farther away, choose the corner of the bed instead of your side, leave when your hand moves, stop entering the blanket zone entirely. From the human perspective, it can feel like affection decreased. From the cat's perspective, the sleeping place simply became harder to regulate. This is why the behavior cannot be read only as a symbol of love or its absence. It is a nervous system decision made inside a relationship. Your cat is not just asking, "Do I like this person?" It is asking, "Can I downshift here without losing control of contact, temperature, posture, and exit?" That is species logic, not emotional confusion. And paradoxically, this is where the relational meaning gets deeper, not shallower. Because sleeping is one of the most vulnerable things a cat does near a human body. A waking cat can monitor, move, interrupt, escape. A sleeping cat is temporarily giving up some of that control. So when your cat chooses the bed, chooses your vicinity, chooses the shared resting zone, that is already meaningful. The final inches are often not evidence that trust stopped. They are evidence that trust and self-protection are being balanced with extraordinary precision. The cat on your chest may trust you. The cat beside you may trust you, and still need to breathe, turn, hear, leave, cool down, or rest without being absorbed. Humans romanticize total contact. Cats often romanticize safe access. That is why the cat sleeping beside you can reveal something more mature than pure clinginess. It can reveal a bond that does not require possession to be real. Your cat may want your presence, your smell, your heat signature, your rhythm, your territory, your predictability. But it may want all of that without pressure on the ribs, without your arm dropping in sleep, without being pinned by a blanket fold, without sudden repositioning, without the risk that the moment it settles, you will convert proximity into handling. So the missing logic is not that your cat loves you less than the cats who sprawl dramatically across their owners online. The missing logic is that closeness for cats is often measured not by maximum compression, but by how well vulnerability can be maintained. Beside you may be the exact point where safety, attachment, sensory comfort, and bodily control all still hold. And the mistake people make is small but powerful. They think the meaningful question is, why didn't my cat come all the way onto me? But the better question is, what conditions made beside me feel safe enough to sleep? Because that is where the bond actually becomes visible. The peak truth here is this: your cat sleeping beside you is not a lesser version of closeness. It is often closeness shaped carefully enough to survive the night. Once you see that, the whole scene changes. The cat at your feet is not necessarily distant. The cat beside your hip is not necessarily withholding. The cat that leaves a narrow strip of mattress between your body and its own may still be choosing you with remarkable clarity. Watch the details. Notice whether the body softens fully after settling. Notice whether the paws tuck or stay ready. Notice whether your movement causes a small lift of the head. Notice whether your cat comes nearer after you stop reaching. Notice where on the bed your cat returns to again and again. The map matters, because what your cat may be saying in that quiet nighttime choice is not, "I do not want you." It may be something far more intimate than that. "I want to sleep where your presence still feels safe inside my body." And sometimes that place is not on you. Sometimes the truest trust is the distance that allows rest to happen at all.